this is it. This is OnePlus 10 Pro 5G from OnePlus. Here's my unboxing and my full review about this device. So without further delay, let's dive right in. All right, so let's take this off. I have the 8GB model with 128 gigs of RAM in volcanic black. So first taking this off, and by the way, this is a really thick box, and you can probably guess why. First, let's pull this. It's the paperwork. Let's first take a look at the paperwork real quickly. We got welcome from OnePlus with the SIM ejector tool. We got the quick start guide. We got some safety information as well as, there we go, some OnePlus stickers. Let's put this aside, and there it is. Here's the OnePlus 10 Pro. Wow, that feels really good in the hand. Surprisingly light. Let's put that down for a quick second. Let's take a look right here. It's the USB-C to C red cable. Oh, we got a little surprise down here, if I can pull it out. We got a OTG adapter right here. Just gonna place that right back in the box. And then we have right here the 65 watt Super VOOC charger for the OnePlus 10 Pro. So let's put that in the box and let's take a look at the OnePlus 10 Pro. So like I said, this is the 8GB model with 120 gigs of storage. But let's just listen. Let's just listen to this unwrapping. If there is, that is. Let's go. All right. There it is. There's the OnePlus. Wow, the OnePlus 10 Pro. That feels really good in the hand. I like this satin black color to it. All right, so the top, the bottom, the sides, they're all matte. Went ahead and peeled this off right here, but that is a huge camera bump right there. It's got 3 camera lenses, P2D 50T. Marques Brownlee has a really good video about what that stands for. And then there's Hasselblad. I've heard both pronunciations. Let me know in the comments down below which one do you think is the correct pronunciation. But I like this feel to it. I'm going to be using this, and I'm going to set it up, use it as my main daily driver, and I'll get back to you with my full review. All right, so OnePlus 10 Pro, let's talk about this design. So if you look at this, it's definitely a departure from the OnePlus 9 Pro, and it kind of has the Galaxy S21, kind of took design cues from S21. And here we have it. So this is called the Volcanic Black, and it has a more satin black back finish to it, and I really do like it. This does not attract any fingerprints, which is a huge plus for me. Now, it also fits very snug in the hand. It isn't too wide like the Galaxy S22 Ultra. It's a little bit taller and less and a little bit more narrow than the S22 Ultra, and that's something I personally do appreciate. Now, the camera system, like I said, is very similar to the S21, and that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. I like this camera. It kind of stands out from the crowd. It's covered in ceramic, but unfortunately, it does collect fingerprints right here. This camera setup does collect fingerprints, as you can probably tell right there. There is a bunch of branding right here, if you can see Hasselblad, as well as this P2D 50T, which MKBHD does have in his video, but I'll be putting up right here of what that does stand for. Phone 2nd generation Hasselblad mobile camera system, 50 megapixel triple camera setup. That's a lot. But I'm going to be talking about more about the camera in a bit. Now, this display is a 6.7-inch Quad HD 120 hertz second gen LTPO display. I just threw a lot of things right at you, but it's got a really, really good display. A very crisp display, and this will allow the phone to adjust from itself from 1 hertz to 120 hertz. That's the definition of second gen LTPO display, the 120 hertz display. I gotta say though, the curves are they're much more subtle than they were on previous devices. The last device I used was the OnePlus 7 Pro. It's definitely a huge upgrade. I haven't come across any in my time of usage, any accidental touches whatsoever. It's more subtle, and it's a huge positive. I know a lot of people don't like the curves. I don't really mind. It makes it feel more futuristic and more modern and clean. But for those that don't like it, this is a huge plus. So overall, with design of the OnePlus 10 Pro, I gotta say, display, they definitely nailed it, because display is the part of the phone we use the most. And watching videos on this, playing Call of Duty Mobile, is amazing. It really is. I absolutely love watching all of my YouTube videos on the OnePlus 10 Pro. Okay, now let's talk performance. So this is equipped with the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset. And chipsets I personally have gotten so good that you won't notice any issue in day-to-day performance as well as heavy usage if you're coming from a device like the OnePlus 7 Pro that came out in 2019. Now my model right here, this one comes with 8 gigs of RAM and 120 gigs of storage. Now, while 8 gigs of RAM isn't too much of an issue, I'm kind of wondering why smartphone manufacturers are decreasing the amount of RAM they put into their phones in the base model. Like the Galaxy S22 Ultra, the base model is also 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. So I just wonder why. And I personally think 128 gigs right now is perfectly fine, but it's always better to have more storage, because in the next couple of years, instead of 64 being the base for some devices like Apple right now, for some of their phones, 128 gigs right now is going to be the base. In a couple of years, it's going to be 256 gigs as files get larger and larger. Now, I want to focus more on display. The fingerprint sensor right here is an optical sensor, and it's really fast. It's pretty darn fast. An improvement OnePlus made is they moved the sensor a little bit higher on the display, which I personally think is a huge plus. I mean, that's where my thumb kind of rests anyway. And also I do have face unlock, which, please, more Android devices, you just bring that face unlock feature. I mean, look how quick it is. Is it secure? Probably not, but it's definitely so much quicker to unlock it. And if you can't unlock with the screen, with the face unlock, then you just press the fingerprint sensor. It's already blazing fast, and it gets the job done. Now, like I said, I absolutely love watching videos. Display is super crisp and vivid. And playing Call of Duty on the 10 Pro, I don't know why, but I love playing mobile games on OnePlus devices. I absolutely loved, and I got hooked on playing Call of Duty with the OnePlus 7 Pro, and this is no different. Playing Call of Duty on this is just the best. I mean, it's good on other phones, but for some reason, I just absolutely love enjoying. Maybe it's just the way that the phone fits in my hand. It fits very snug in my hand. That's probably why. But for those of you who are going to get into gaming and use this phone for a lot of mobile games, whether it be PUBG or Genshin Impact or Call of Duty Mobile, you won't have any issue whatsoever. All right, so OnePlus 10 Pro comes equipped with Android 12 and OnePlus's custom Oxygen OS. Now, there are a bunch of nice quirks and features that Oxygen OS 12 has, like changing your icons, the layout, transitions, and more, for example, of the home screen. However, for me personally, I think it's begun to lose more and more of its stock Android and stock Oxygen OS feel, like the Oxygen OS we used to get back with like OnePlus 5, OnePlus 6, and those types of devices. It's fluid, it's buttery smooth, don't get me wrong. But like icons, for example, if you look right here, they're a little bit more reminiscent, like this camera icon, a little bit more reminiscent, the settings, for example, right here, of Apple devices. Now, a cool feature you get with the OnePlus 10 Pro is when you watch a video on this with a resolution lower than 720p, OnePlus automatically enhances the video quality by up to 4 times, which they call super video resolution. And that also ties into gaming. And gaming is pretty much, I already talked about this a little bit more, but I just want to dive right into a little bit. OnePlus offers some really good gaming features as well as a vapor chamber of copper carbide on both sides of the device's motherboards. So when you're playing Call of Duty or Genshin Impact or whatever it is, PUBG Mobile or Pokemon Unite, it's going to be buttery smooth. You're going to have no issues whatsoever. Okay, so let's talk about camera on the OnePlus 10 Pro. So if you're subscribed to the channel, you know that I'm not the biggest phone camera guy. And what I do is I just pretty much take out my phone and I click on the shutter button and I take my photo, that's it. And I might use like extra features that phone offers on special occasions, but other than that, that's really it. Now, OnePlus 10 Pro offers 3 cameras right here, the main, the telephoto, and ultra wide camera, and they're all capable of shooting in full 10-bit color. Now, the ultra wide offers this 150-degree field of view that lets you take photos that are 4 times wider than those captured with 120-degree ultra-wide cameras. But the original degree is at 110 for the ultra-wide. But you have that 150-degree angle or degree that you can take photos of. And there's a fisheye mode that replicates the look of traditional fisheye lenses. And if we do go to the camera app, we're definitely going to see a bunch of different camera modes and features right here. So we can go to fisheye right here. Here is the 150 degree. We can even do fisheye right here. So there's a bunch of nice quirks and features with this camera app on the OnePlus 10 Pro. Now the main 48 megapixel camera, it performs really well, especially in daylight. It's good resolution as well as good dynamic range. And also there's what we call Pro mode, and that's one of the other features. Pro mode on here, it changes things like the ISO to the shutter speed to white balance and all of those stuff. You can also record up to 4K at 120 FPS and 8K up to 24 frames per second. 8K, I don't even have an 8K monitor. I don't record in 8K. I mean, look, 4K, 720p, 8K, who records in 8K, please? Besides Marquez Brownlee, please. I mean, I don't even have an 4K display. I watch all my videos in 1080p. I record in 1080p. But anyway, you do have that option. Now, there's another mode that's called Dual View Video. And this is actually pretty cool because right here you can see that I'm recording, and right down here, I have both of my front-facing camera as well as my rear-facing camera recording. And you can record like that if that's something, maybe you're vlogging and you want to use this for a vlog camera, then you can definitely use it. There's also a 32 megapixel selfie camera, which is pretty crisp, and it gets the job done. And it's much wider than the OnePlus 9 Pro. But with this camera app, you're definitely getting a bunch of more features, a lot of good features actually, that when you play around with them, I think this is a really capable camera. Now, is it the best camera on the market? For my personal preference, I probably still would say no, but that doesn't mean just because I said no, it's a really good camera. And if you go ahead and pick up the OnePlus 10 Pro as your main device, you'll have 0 issues with camera quality. It's actually really good. And as you saw with the sample photos, it takes some pretty darn good photos. So now we're at the battery department, battery life, charging speeds, everything about that we're going to talk about right now about the OnePlus 10 Pro. So this OnePlus 10 Pro comes equipped with a dual cell 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which I think is pretty much the norm now in 2022 with Android devices. Galaxy S22, for example, has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery as well. Now, the one thing I personally love about OnePlus phones is the charging speeds. The battery charging speeds on these devices is just insane. Now, there may be other, faster charging speeds out there for phones, but for me, OnePlus has always been the best of the phones I have used. Now, my model right here is the North American model, and it comes equipped with a 65-watt SuperVOOC charger, which is Oppo's name for their charging tech. If you remember back then, OnePlus had Dash Charge, Warp Charge, but now it's SuperVOOC. So that's okay. I don't really mind the naming scheme or for the charging tech. So you can charge this phone, the OnePlus 10 Pro, to about 50% in around 15 minutes and 0 to 100 in 34, 35 minutes, which for me is a huge game changer because, I mean, I usually don't charge my phone at night, and I usually have about 45 minutes in the morning to get ready for the day. So I know that I'm gonna get ready. Let me just put this in the charger real quick. By the time I come back, it's already at 100%. Now you're going to be asking, wait, why is that 65 watts? I thought OnePlus 10 Pro had 80 watts. Yes, you are correct. The charging speeds will be capped at 65 watts for the North American OnePlus 10 Pro models. That's right. The OnePlus 9 Pro, which comes with a 4,500 milliamp hour battery that also supports 65 watt charging. Now, according to OnePlus, this is because the 80 watt SuperVOOC does not support the 110 or 120 volt AC power, which is the typical standard for power outlets in North America. So that pretty much answers your question. We're kind of missing out on one of the best features. Oh man, but it's okay. 65 watts is still super fast charging. Now, the OnePlus 10 Pro also supports wireless charging. And if you have the AirVOOC charger, well, then you're getting 50 watts of wireless charging. That's still really insane, 50 watts of wireless charging. It also does have reverse wireless charging, and a friend of mine, their phone actually died out the other day, and I had to charge it with the OnePlus 10 Pro. I was able to at least turn it on so they can make a couple phone calls, which was a huge plus. As for daily usage, I'm getting about 5 hours of screen on time, and for me, the battery life is average. I mean, average, the reason why I say average is about, I'm getting 5 hours of screen on time. That for me is average. If I'm getting 6-7 hours, then that's good battery life for me. The only reason why I don't worry about this battery because I know I can just charge it up in 20-30 minutes. Whereas other phones, it'll take like 50 to an hour. And, you know, time is, you're not going to be able to get your time back. So time is really precious. Now charging, like I said, amazing. I put this into charge. I did a little test. I put this in the charge at 1:42 p.m. I don't remember what day it was. It was either Saturday or Sunday at 32%. 6 minutes later at 1:48, it was at 55%. And at 2:06 p.m., it was at 100. That is in literally 24 minutes. It went from 32 to 100%. That is actually really good. So if you get this phone, you won't need to worry about battery life or charging speeds at all. And that's one of my favorite features of OnePlus devices at OnePlus 10 Pro. Keep it up. My final thoughts about OnePlus 10 Pro. Now, my last OnePlus phone was the 7 Pro, and that was an amazing phone. That set the bar up really high for me. But ever since then, I just really haven't come across OnePlus devices until the OnePlus 10 Pro was announced. And it just kind of sparked my interest again and I wanted to try out the OnePlus 10 Pro. Battery charging speeds on here are insane and probably one of the reasons why I absolutely love OnePlus devices. Also, the satin black back of this 10 Pro is a great choice of color. The black doesn't collect any fingerprints, although the camera setup does, which is a huge plus for me as well. Build quality overall, it's really good. And also, I forgot to add this into design. It just came to my mind is that alert slider. This is also one of my favorite features. Alert slider, please. More devices, more companies, OEMs, take this alert slider, please. It's such a really good feature. Please, just do it. So this alert slider is a huge plus for me. It's a great device. It really is. It's a great device, especially for those of you who use OnePlus devices. I literally, my entire family at one point used OnePlus devices all at once. And we all love OnePlus devices. We really do love the brand. They make some really good quality devices. However, taking a look around us, OnePlus has a lot of competition. But with great performance, awesome charging speeds, and clean software that isn't ColorOS that many people really wanted Oxygen OS, and the North American models do have that, I would definitely consider this device before you go out and make a purchase. Don't just completely dismiss the OnePlus 10 Pro. Definitely take a look at it, try it out. Actually, you may actually like this. You may actually really like it. I personally love the OnePlus 10 Pro. It's a minimal, clean, and smooth phone.
Anyway, everybody, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to Superman that like button, comment down below, because with the more interactions we get on this video, not only helps the video and the channel, but also pushes the video out to more viewers. And best of all, Superman that subscribe button. Until next time, everybody, and until next video, this is MTG.